Hello, everybody. Welcome to this edition of AKT Celebrity Reads. I know I'm starting late. I've been so busy. I had to try to get something for you so that I can start. Just put it here tonight. So even though it's late, it's okay. If you're not up to see it, I will have it for you tomorrow. You can watch it tomorrow because I understand it's Sunday, and you all need to get ready to go to work tomorrow. So y'all didn't have to watch it. Thank you for Jacrisha for sharing it for me. Everybody share it. Click like, thumbs it up. Yeah. Hey, Valanda. Thank you, Ashley. Of course, you know I'm wearing my NIPSEY blue. This is for NIPSEY. God, I hate that shadow. I gotta fix that shadow, y'all. Hi, Jennifer. Hey, John. I don't have this NIPSEY reading finished, everybody. However, I'm not gonna be here too long. This is kind of like a part one. Hey, Parker. I want to just start the AKT celebrity read for this part that he wants me to do, so that I could at least keep my word to him. I don't know about the court proceedings. I think the court proceedings are going to be this coming week with Nipsey's brother, Samael. And I think, I'm not sure, is there also going to be Eric Holder? Is there going to be a hearing for Eric Holder? I'm not sure. You all let me know the dates. Hi, Ricky. So that's why I wanted to do something. Oh, hello, beautiful man, hello. Let me do libations. And also today, June 9th, is my father's birthday, the late, great Mr. Excitement, Jackie Wilson. So let me do libations to them, and then we're going to get right into it. I don't want to waste your time. Libation to Jackie Wilson. Ashe. Happy birthday, Daddy. Happy birthday, Grandma. And to Nipsey Hussle, Armaya's Ashkido. Ashe. Ashe. Okay, I feel like I want a little bit more. Okay, all right, fine. That tastes so good. I have company here. Woo. Yeah, I feel, as you can see, I only had a few drops, so it's not the alcohol. I don't drink alcohol, but I do it to do libations to the ancestors. Let me tell you what happened. I'll tell you a little bit of it. Last week, what was it? Last Monday, I think it was Memorial Day, and I was here because you have to know who's over this reading. This is a pretty heavy reading. It's so heavy, and I wanted to say to everybody, I haven't been able to finish it because I've been doing other people's private readings all day and all night. I don't know. Do my breasts look okay, everybody? Women, I'm asking the women too. I want the women to be honest with me. So I just want to make sure it looked okay. I don't know if you can see them. I can kind of see my veins. So it looks kind of gross sometimes. You can see my green veins. So I just want to make sure if that was okay, or if I need to close it. Is it okay for Londa? It looks okay on that end, child. Because I don't want to be up here and y'all up there clowning me behind my goddamn back now. Okay. Let me tell you who's over this reading. I was here cleaning up again, minding my own business. Okay, Ricky, thank you. I just want to make sure nothing didn't look wrong. Out of place, child. And I see Nipsey. Thank you, Eli. Is it right? Hey, Latika. And I see Nipsey, and then I look, and Nipsey has on like another outfit for Memorial Day. He got on red, white, and blue, and he looked very nice. You know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of the video. Okay, thank you, Falanda. It reminds me of the video when he was on the Learjet, and he had the white outfit on with the red and blue trim. And then I looked, I saw Bruce Lee. That's over the reading. Nipsey and hey Angela, hi beautiful, with Bruce Lee and Brandon Lee. And then there's because you know Bruce Lee is Chinese. Thank you JJ. I have been in love with Bruce Lee since I was a little girl in the projects, and we was watching TV one night and they blowed our mind when they put Bruce Lee on the TV. Then some other group, I think some black man, hey Angela, had made a song called "Everybody Will Kung Fu Fight." Huh? What you said that for? We out there the next day, we jumping, we doing high kicks, we spinning, we pretending to whoop each other ass like we Bruce Lee. So Bruce Lee comes in here, and then Brandon Lee comes. Now, this is something I don't know if you all know, because I see do you realize that Brandon Lee died on the same date that Nipsey died on, March 31st? But it was March 31st, 1993. Did you all know that? That Nipsey Hussle and Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son, were murdered on the same day. And there's also suspicion that Bruce Lee was murdered. You know, they're saying he took the aspirin or something, and had some chemical, he had an allergic reaction to it. So I am seeing the three of them standing there. Oh yeah, Philanda, it's true. Look it up. It was just a different year. That, yes, girl. So, because I was wondering, and I said, Bruce Lee likes Nipsey, and he's very attached to Nipsey. So, when I look at Bruce has two lions with him. So, I'm getting a connection. Bruce looking dead at me, and Bruce Lee got them saying that movie I think it was Enter the Dragon, where Bruce Lee was sure enough getting ready to tear that ass up. He had that shirt off with that grease on his chest, with the black pants that fit real tight and them Chinese shoes. Bruce looking at, yes, Selena died the same day. See, I'm picking this up. I'm peeping this because I didn't know, I'm trying to figure out the connection. But I know Bruce Lee wasn't prejudiced. He wasn't racist. And he's been spending a lot of time with Nipsey. So I look down and I said, okay, you're teaching me something because you got the two lions. And I always see the lions, the jaguar, and the panthers, and the king of Judah with Nipsey. So I'm saying, okay, so you done bought the lions too. Thank you, Jay Whitney. And so I'm looking, and Bruce's eyes, I mean, I could see their skin and everything. I'm looking at Bruce, I could see his skin and shit. I'm talking about everything looked like he ain't trained. He's still working in the other dimension. And I could feel him. I see his hair. I see his eyes. And the way Bruce's eyes are, oh my God, they look like they got fire in them. They're so piercing. And he didn't blink. The way this man looks, if you're scary, you'd be very intimidated by him. Because it's like this man is cutting right through. He could see he's still been studying and traveling high, still bad as hell. So then I'm looking at Nipsey the same way. They both got heat on them, as literally their bodies are still alive. And they are alive in the higher realm. So Nipsey looks at me and he says, I need you to send my brother Samael a message. So I turned and looked at him. Yeah, I know, Candy. I said, oh, here we go. I said, okay, what do you want me to tell Samael? And then he turned to me, and I know not to, I didn't play, we wasn't playing this time. I wasn't cracking no goddamn joke with his ass. He said, I need you to tell Samael that he needs to remember the protocol that we went over and what we talked about. There are some things I need him to handle for me because I know who killed me. He said, I know who was involved. And I said, okay, what are you talking about? And he starts going over the protocol, and I said, no, I'm not repeating that publicly because anybody could hear it, and I don't want Samael to get in any trouble. And I heard he already had some legal. He said he's not getting in any trouble. And then he looked and he said, you heard me. Pass the message. I said, pass the message. No. No. And I turned. And then I looked back and I looked at Bruce. I said, Bruce, you with this shit he with? And Bruce looked at me. Bruce said, I'm with it. And I, no. And I turned my head, and it was just what he said that I'm not repeating. What he said went through me, and I was afraid. And because I was afraid for Samael. And I turned my back to him, and I started crying. I said, I can't do that because I don't want nothing to happen to him. And he said, nothing's going to happen to him. This was the plan. And that's all I'm going to say about that part. And I'm looking at Bruce, and Bruce ain't flinching. And I said, okay, I'm going to listen to everything you had. But I was so upset because, like, I didn't want anything else happen. I know something happened to one brother. I don't want anything to happen to the other brother. And he says, but he already knows. And then I started to feel the war. There are people literally right now on standby on both sides, ready for war. They just waiting for the outcome so they know who did what. But I'm disappointed, and I'm sorry to tell you, just for the little bit I have for you tonight, there is no justice for organized crime. At least it's not getting ready to happen right now. With everybody involved in this, and from what I can hear, what I keep telling you, and when I look at Samael, this was a slow, well-planned, methodical execution, assassination, and murder on NIPSEY. Now, the way Eric Holder did this, and who he had involved was very sloppy, but that is not the way they planned this, quickly, in a hurry, and sloppy. The people that are powerful, and every time I look at this reading, because I laid the cards out too, and I'm not finished because I also have to do another reading on TANISHA. Hey, Joanna. And I didn't get to finish because, like I say, y'all, and I want to thank you and tell you I love you. And I'm glad y'all love me and appreciate me because you all have had me so busy over the past few weeks. Nothing's wrong. I'm okay. I've just been so busy all day and all night with the readings to the point that yesterday and today I said I'm not doing any. I'm not answering anybody because I have to keep my word to NIPSEY. I was supposed to do this over a week ago, but I was so bombarded. So that's what's going on. So if you want a reading from me, you can email me at alexysktylorvp@gmail.com. But I haven't been answering the past couple of days because I need to keep my word and to get this done because I know this is going to be long and drawn out. And I also want to say too, since Bruce is Chinese, and let me tell you something that I found out. I have this is the ancestor money. This is Chinese money that you put on someone's altar when they have left. And I got the hell note. And the reason I got the hell note, and you put real gold coins on their altar as well. I have some of the gold ancestor money right here behind me as well for him, as well as you put that there for the ancestors when they've been cheated out of their money, when something has been taken from them. And I do want to say that this is for entertainment purposes only. This is isn't it beautiful, Candy? And the way you get it to them, even though it's so beautiful to look at, you have to burn it. Burn it on their altar when you give them their offerings and their food every week, especially when something's been taken from them. Because if they've been violated and their money, their cars, their homes, their possessions has been taken from them, they've been tricked out of it, and they leave here at a deficit, and then they've continued to be raped and robbed when their body dies, they leave on the other side. If that's not balanced out, the same thing will be, yes, Joss paper, the same things will be given to the family. Like I just said, it helps to balance it out. You have to do work for them if you really love them, and especially if you're a family member, because it will create the same deficit for the ones in the third dimension that are still in the third dimensional flesh body. Yeah? Okay. I'm going to try to speed this up. Oh, yes. Also, we're dealing with the constellation Sirius, the dog star. We're dealing with Orion. Let me tell you who else is over this, which ties into Samael. When I first started looking at this last week, and NIPSEY told me to tell him that, thank you, Cheryl, for sharing the post. And I said I'm not going to say that in public. Now, if I could speak to him privately, I would say that. But, yeah, I said I was a Bruce Lee. I love Bruce Lee. And I'm so glad he's with NIPSEY. So, I started to look at Samael. And I started to look at his picture. And I listened to him speak at the funeral. He was so hurt about his baby brother being just violated and disrespected and just killed that way. And you could hear it, like he could barely hold himself together. He loves his brother. And his brother loves him because NIPSEY's always around him and kissing him and hugging him and telling him he loves him. He's around his whole family telling them he loves them. And as I started to look at Samael, I was looking at a picture of him with his eyes. So I said, well, why do y'all want me to look at the eyes? Is there a problem with the eyes? And I looked, I said, well, those don't look like designer glasses. They might be medical glasses, so there could be something with the eyes. So they take me to the left eye. So as I'm looking at the left eye, I'm seeing something. I'm looking at the cornea. I'm looking at the pupil. I'm looking at the back of the eye. I'm looking at the optic nerve. And then, as I'm looking at the eye, I start to see Horus. And I looked it up and I said, wow, so he's Horus? He represents Horus's energy. NIPSEY, in this situation, is Osiris. And Osiris got into a fight with Set, who was very jealous of him, which would be Saturn, and killed. Because I'm learning so much from this. Killed Osiris, and Horus avenged Osiris's death. But I think with that Egyptian story, Osiris is Horus's father. But in this, correct me if I'm getting this wrong, in this life, Osiris would be NIPSEY, and Samael is NIPSEY's big brother. That now, look at this. He has to avenge his brother. I'm getting chills. Oh, the panther is here. The lion's here. Do you know there's also a Chinese spitting cobra? Just like there is a Eritrean and Ethiopian spitting cobra. The cobra came in with Bruce. And so that's who's over this too. Osiris, which is NIPSEY, and Horus, which is Samael, and he has to avenge his brother. And you see they got it on with Set, and they want to get it on now. And I said, NIPSEY, I'm not NIPSEY. And he said, yeah, do what I said. You ain't seen me at one time talking about I said this and I said that and I cracked the joke. I know I eased back from it. That's his motherfucker. I know not to crack no joke. That day I said, no, no, no. So you heard me. Pass it. And I said, no, don't. I am, but I'm not. Not that fuck shit you said. You heard me. And when I looked at him, whoa, I saw that Nipsey has a temper. The eyes were fiery, and he didn't blink. And when he looked at me, I knew, don't play with this motherfucker today. And I understood, and I respected it, because he was murdered. And he's angry. A part of him is very angry about what happened to him. So I did not crack a joke. I will, and I turned, because I said, he's very angry. But I knew it wasn't at me, you know. I knew it wasn't personal. And then that's when I kept cutting my eye at Bruce, and Bruce, you heard the nigga answer? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. But y'all, I got to get myself together, because I can't take both of y'all up in here at one time. So let me get myself together. And I literally just started to cry, because I'm just like, I can't deal with this, because I know that it's going to be trouble. And I heard it tonight before I got on the live that, Alexyss, it doesn't matter if you say this shit or not, if you pass that or not, because there are two armies already waiting for what Eric Holder say happened, or who put Eric on Nipsey, who set this shit up, because they know this nigga is a dunce and a junkie and ain't got them all upstairs. So they know that there's some higher ups in there, because you know Nipsey's a made man. So how you just gonna come in the parking lot and walk up on him and do that, and then you had all the coordination, and you had all these people doing this and watching this in the daytime? They know, but they not finna be. See, these are not, y'all, some people want to disrespect people that are in gangs. Talking to them. And think that they all stupid and ignorant. Oh, no. They done sat down. They playing strategy games here, war games, and chess. They are watching all the players, and they're going to wait on that ass and see what's happening. And you see now they have blocked Eric's testimony, Eric Holder. They will not release it right now. And it's a newspaper out there in California that's saying, no, everybody has the right to know. I'm not sure if it's the California Times. It's a major newspaper that is trying to fight and saying that, no, everybody has the right to know what Eric Holder's testimony was. And right now, it is sealed. We won't know right now what Eric Holder said happened. Yeah, Shelley, I mean, yes. He's very easy to program. He's a follower, and they said he was a known informant. That's what I'm saying. Like, right now, justice is not going to prevail. And it's something very, very wicked and demonic about this. Because I also, when I looked, these different symbols popped up. Okay, the Motorola symbol popped up in my head. And I looked at the Motorola symbol, and let's deal with technology. I think phones, they have their hands in everything. And that company has something to do with Nipsey, his music, communications, dealing with Motorola. If y'all know, you could tell me. I don't know everything that Motorola does that would tie into phones, electronics, music, studio recording. And then I looked at the California flag, and I saw the 5-pointed star, just like I brought to you the last time with Lucifer and Lucy in the garden, dealing with the 5 points of man, head, arm, leg, leg. You're dealing with that, and you're dealing with the pentacles and grounding things in the third dimension. So I saw the 5 points there, and then I saw the Chinese flag, and I saw a 5-pointed star on the Chinese flag. So I'm like, okay, so I'm seeing the pentacles here. And then when I looked at NIPSEY's sign, I saw something that I never saw before for the marathon. I saw the face of Satan with the pentagram, the 5-pointed star on the marathon sign. There has been a satanic curse placed on that store, placed on that business, placed on the whole energy of that family that is fighting for what belongs to NIPSEY. And there are 3 demons. I saw them giggling. The Trinity, the demons, were put there together to create blocks and obstacles for sound. And for anybody that is trying to hold NIPSEY's estate together. I didn't see them at first when it first happened. It has been cast within the past couple of months to devour and consume. Let me tell you, and then let me tell you another place how I found it. Because when I was talking to Bruce, Bruce tells me that some of the original dynasties in China were black. There were the black Chinese. Yeah, the original ones, the original martial arts masters were black masters. These people, because I'm looking and I knew he had to teach me something. And he's, you know about Bruce Lee. Bruce Lee was not racist. Bruce Lee was not prejudiced. Bruce Lee taught everyone. And Bruce Lee has a lot of respect for the black Chinese. And he was telling me that I need to look at this and tell me about it. And I'm saying, wow, this is what I need to know. So I started looking at them. And then another one that he brought with him was not only the lions, which would be, he brought the monkey god. So I looked it up, and which was also, I go back to Egypt, and it also the gods of wisdom, which were tied Baba or Babi, the bull of baboons, which would also be thought. God of wisdom, assistant in the underworld, which is a baboon god, or Bi-Bon. And he was the bull of baboons. It was thought devoured the innards of the immortal dead. The monkey was deified. It's like a green monkey in Egypt. They deified it post-mortem following mummification. Monkeys and baboons were imported from Nubia. Ancient Nubians used monkeys and baboons as protectors, lawgivers, healers, patrons of the arts. Elite squads of monkeys actually walked the street to fight criminals. They had criminals fearing them. This is how intelligent and gifted these monkeys were. They are linked to the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth. So NIPSEY is moving through these cycles and being reborn and educating himself. He's really an incredible man. Very powerful man, and he's moving through this thing. And he's not just staying still or crying or stuck. And guess what? These monkeys also deal with female sexuality. And one of them is, he's one of the, the green monkey was deified, one of the 4 sons of Horus, or Happy, who was associated with mummification. So see, the ones Bruce brought in, was mentioning to me, I started looking for, deal with gods of the underworld, healing, sensuality, sexuality, rebirth, and power. And they're tied to the Egyptians, which would be the African, and they were also in China. But you know, they're not going to tell you that in the school, because I never heard this. And they're not going to tell you that in college. They're not going to put that in books, even though they have it in books. They're just not going to make it easily accessible to you. Remember, they let them tell you was a slave out in the field with a chain on. Ignorant and illiterate. And Bruce is sending me to all of these things. And also, The green monkey was deified, and when was it, the mummification, he was represented as a baboon, headed canopic god. The green monkey was depicted shooting bows and arrows. And this was an aspect of the invisible god Atum, associated with Thor, with Tha, and the moon god Khonsu. Titled priest of the living baboon, priest of the Osiris baboon. They were held by individuals who served gods in the court of sanctuaries that had baboon statues. So in different Egyptian dynasties, they had the monkey and the baboon. And they said the dangerous and negative side of that can be assumed by the enemy of the gods, such as Apophis and Set, which is what we're dealing with when we deal with NIPSEY and Samael, Black Sam, because Sam with the eyes, and then I notice it too, he wears the glasses, and then the eye of Horus, but then you also have the female side of it. It's like the eye, I think it's eye of Ra, the sun god Ra, and the moon god Thor. So he has two eyes. We have the masculine and the feminine principle of this, and it says here, northern China, the blacks founded many civilizations. There were three major empires of China. And one was let me make sure I got this right, the Xia, but it's spelled Xia, dynasty of 2205-1766 BC. I didn't know that. I don't think a lot of you knew that either, but I wanted to share. We need to know. You go research this. That's what I'm telling you, the years for the dynasty. Then the Shang/Yin dynasty, 1700 through 1050 BC. And the Zhou, but it's spelled Z-H-O-U, but it's pronounced Zhou dynasty, was the first dynasty founded by Mongoloid people in China called, it's spelled H-U-A, but it's pronounced Wu-A. Founders of the Xia or Xia and Shang came from, listen, fertile African crescent by way of Iran. The skeletal remains from southern China are predominantly Negroid. You hear me? And the Shang, which was 1960, this is from a book, 1964, page 370, from Shang. The people practiced single burials and had burial mounds, like the Native Americans and some of the Africans, like we deal with tombs and shrines, and the Black Indians over here with the mounds, which would be, depending on which ethnic group you came of African and Native American, would do this. And so I'm looking at this, and I'm like, thank you, Bruce. And thank you, NIPSEY, because y'all made me go. It was easy to find, too. Made me go find this and read it so I could share it with you all to go study it, go research it. And so the Chinese, for the Negroid, the Chinese civilization began along the Yellow River in China. The soil was fertile. Black Chinese farmers grew millet 4,000 years ago. Later, soybeans, and raised pigs and cattle. And by 3,500 BC, blacks in China were raising silkworms and making silk. But they're not going to tell you that. They want you to know. So you see why? I already loved Bruce Lee. But when he came in here and he showed me this, I felt more in love. I have so much respect because he respects NIPSEY. He respected me. He knows more about our people than we do. So, put that there. And then when I looked at Bruce Lee and the Chinese lion, that is also the imperial guardian. That lion is the guardian, just like it guards NIPSEY and walks with NIPSEY, and it's in Ethiopia and Eritrea. And NIPSEY's a Leo, and he's also a lion. And he's from the descendants of the Eritrean and Ethiopian people. And also, you know, who comes up? Menelik 1 and Menelik 2. So this is, I'm looking at these kings, and I'm looking at the Queen of Sheba. I think I'm going to go back and make sure that she was with Menelik, or the first Menelik, and King Solomon was also tied to Ethiopian and Eritrea, and I'm just fascinated as I'm looking at these things, and I said, wow, this ties into him. Now it makes sense. And the Chinese lion, and I saw the Chinese lion during the so-called Mongolian, and that Mongolian would also have some Africans in there, but the lion looks a little bit different, the Chinese lion with the Mongolian. I was drawn to it. Absolutely beautiful. And so I'm looking at this, and I said, okay. So, and then Genghis Khan also comes up in this reading. He's over the reading, which kind of concerned me, because, you know, he was off the goddamn chain and a warrior, and he's around NIPSEY. So, and he's around Samael, because his reading, he was talking to Samael. So, I kind of already know, you know, what I think and feel ain't gonna stop a motherfucker thing. It just worries me, because I see what's going on here, or I see the sides here are gathering, and they're quiet. But don't think because they're quiet that war strategies are not being done, because right now people are thinking and strategizing about getting it on in this motherfucker. They just quiet. That's all. Don't think it ain't shit going on because it's quiet. Because what this shit they saying to me, and what they're teaching me about this history. Let me see. Yes, this also goes into Buddhism. And when I dealt with the Chinese spitting cobra, he just is off the chain as the African, Eritrean, and Ethiopian spitting one. And I saw one on YouTube, and I looked them up. Who those things are vicious. And it reminded me of Bruce and NIPSEY, because they're both very lean. It's just NIPSEY's taller, but they're very muscular, and they're athletic, and they can fight, and they can move quickly. And which side direct this? Yes. Okay, thank you. Queen Sheba was Menelik. I thought she was Menelik. Okay, Queen Sheba was Menelik I's mom, the direct descendant of King Solomon. Okay. And he's coming from, NIPSEY's coming from this lineage. And, okay, because I need to go back and read. So remind me, how did Menelik 2? Since I have both of them here. Menelik 1 and Menelik 2, which I'll come back later and get deeper into. So Ricky, how does Menelik 1, Menelik 2 come in? Because it was one of them I saw that actually had a big lion sitting beside him like a cat. I'm talking about, this is a real lion. Either Menelik, was it Menelik 1 or Menelik 2, has a real lion. There's a photo of him. I couldn't believe that this lion was so huge, showing his teeth, and he's sitting there beside this king, and the king has no knife, no whip, no stick, and the lion submits, just as calmly sitting there. Okay, the father, the great-great-grandfather of Haile Selassie. That makes sense. They're both here. And they're having the bloodline and the energy of NIPSEY and his brother and the father. So when I'm looking at the Chinese lions, which they also call Fu lions, who protect Bruce and protect NIPSEY and come through that bloodline, Eritrea, Ethiopia, and Egypt. I'm then going into, takes me to Buddhism. So Menelik 2 is the great-grandfather of Haile Selassie. Okay, hi Gio. And as I'm studying Qing, the dynasty, officially the Great Dynasty, was the Imperial Dynasty of China, Mongolia in 1636. The lion symbolism during Han Dynasty is 206 BC and 220 AD is from Indian culture through Buddhism. The statues also stand in front of Chinese imperial palaces, imperial tombs, government offices, temples, homes of government officials, wealthy, and those they believe to have power and mystical protective benefits. But this is what I also liked. In Hindu, it is Dharma. The Dharma signifies behaviors that are in accord with RTA. The order that makes life and universe possible, including duties, rights, laws, conduct, cosmic law, and order. So we'd be dealing with Dharma or Jainism. And I like that a lot, because when you're dealing with Dharma, to me, you're also dealing with Ma'at. And she came up in the reading because you are only dealing with right principle. What is just? What is fair? What is balanced? You don't do things out of order. And when we are dealing with the entities here that are around the structure of law and order, they feel, they believe, and they know this what was done to NIPSEY, what was done to Bruce, what was done to Bruce's baby boy, Brandon, was out of order and was illegal and a sin and a violation and unjust based on the laws of Dharma, based on the laws of Ma'at, and they want karmic retribution, cosmic retribution, and there's nothing that's going to stop it, because the higher ancestors in the higher vibration and people are coming down here that I did not expect to see, that are a part of this, that says we want it to, and that we will help NIPSEY and these entities that deal with law and order and justice and right and wrong, a balance, are all over the reading. Because when you look also, you know, Brandon Lee was shot, murdered on the set of The Crow, which was really interesting to me because I was watching, one of my favorite songs of his is when he was in Tulum and the young lady was singing and chanting so beautifully. I love the song. And he was out there on the beach and he said they had just climbed the pyramid. And you go back and look, you'll see what I'm talking about. Because at the beginning he says something to the effect that you got to watch the devil or keep the devil in his place. And then when you look, when he says that, they take the camera to a dumpster. And there's a black bird right there that looks like a crow. And that's when he says it about the devil. Go see what I'm talking about at the beginning. And guess who else? You know where I find the crow? Brandon Lee, Bruce Lee's son. That was the last movie set that was very satanic and very demonic, where Brandon Lee was shot on the set when he was filming the movie The Crow. The Crow was in the movie out there in the rain. And they also see the crow moves in between realms. It passes messages between the living and the dead. It's so beautiful to me. So cold, black, and shiny. But they see everything, they hear everything, and they can be a bad omen, represent death is coming. Or they'll transfer messages back through there. And let me tell you, also I noticed a similarity between Bruce and NIPSEY. In the movie The Crow, Brandon was killed as the character. And then, and it was a satanic sacrifice because there was a mob boss, an underworld boss that was into high-level occultism. Brandon regenerated. He was resurrected to come back and avenge himself from the enemies that kill him and get justice. Okay? Well, you look at NIPSEY, and you see with all of his bloodlines and the energy of it and the history of it, and how, as the way things are moving and the injustice of the plot, the assassination and the murder of people inside of there, because this was not a random outside hit. You're seeing he's moving through these spiritual realms and resurrecting himself, putting himself together, and has affected so many people around the world that everybody wants justice for him, or a lot of people. I'm sure not the people involved, but a lot of people, and the spirits and the ancestors are coming into this realm, and even other people that this happened to before it happened to him, where there were also occult, satanic rituals and spiritual rituals, because Bruce's father, if that's correct in the movie of his life, would hide him, or I think would dress him as a girl, because he believed there was a curse on the family or a demon that would kill the boys. And Bruce would do what he could to fight the demon and keep the demon off, and then block it from Brandon Lee when he had Brandon. And he would say Bruce would see the demon trying to take him in his dream, sometimes in his sleep. And when I look at Bruce's father, I don't feel it as much on Bruce's mother, but I look at Bruce's father, and you see that energy and that entity on Bruce Lee's father. So that it's clear with what his father said, that some type of entity or some type of curse was put on them to move through Bruce Lee's father's side of the family and take the powerful males. So I'm watching this on YouTube, and I'm watching the excerpts, and I'm watching Brandon, and I said, wow, Bruce, okay, I get it, Brandon and NIPSEY. Because NIPSEY would be a son, and Brandon is a son. Brandon is Bruce's son. And then when Brandon was on the set, I think the man just died within the past few years. The actor that shot him with supposedly the harmless blank, it sounded like Russian roulette to me, because they said they had cleared all of the bullets to go in the shooting scene for Brandon's character, except one. Really, Star? Bruce had an Ankh shirt on? Wow. Bruce is a bad boy, a bad man. And the actor, it was a white man that shot Brandon. He said he didn't mean to do it, that he didn't know that the bullet would kill Brandon. He thought it was a prop. He thought they had cleared all the bullets, but there was one in there. So it was like Russian roulette. When he shot Brandon, and it was supposed to be just for play, the bullet that was not cleared is the one that shot Brandon. And when it went in him, say he collapsed, and they thought it was joking or something, until the pool, he didn't get up, and they said it was a large pool of blood that started to form around Brandon's body. And that's when they realized, okay, he's not acting, and they took him to the hospital, and they still couldn't find the bullet. And when they dug into him, thank you, Cheryl, Michael Massey, and he seemed like he never got over that. Okay, he died in 2016, thank you. From looking at an interview of his on YouTube, he never got over it. He didn't want to be in Hollywood no more. He didn't want to act anymore. After he was the one that had to have the bullet that shot and killed Brandon. He just seemed like he was never right. But you know what? When I look at Michael Massey's face, I see a demon on it. If you go back and look at him, you'll see what I'm talking about. The way he would, and the way his teeth are shaped, they look like short, filed down, gapped up demon teeth. It's just something about Michael Massey that really bothered. I see a demon on him. I saw a demon on him when Nikki, they did finally find the bullet in Brandon's body. They had to do an autopsy. It was near the spine, and that's what killed him. They found it was like really mashed up. They finally found it, but it took, I mean, he had bled to death. At that point, a beautiful, handsome young man in his 20s, just gone for nothing. But I feel like, too, that was a sacrifice. That was a ritual. But I saw him appear to me. He appeared with Bruce, and I have to listen to what he has to say. That's why I said I'm going to have to come back, because I'm not finished with this reading. There's so much more to it, and then I have to add the other parts in it, and the TANISHA with Samael's legal case. I want to say, too, when I was looking at this bothered me, Poseidon came up. The god Poseidon, the god of the sea, which is also tied to Neptune and Osiris, because Osiris is the god of the underworld, and it symbolizes death, resurrection, the cycle of the Nile flood that Egypt relied on for agricultural fertility, which would go back to NIPSEY. Now, when I told you in the last reading, I saw the digging and the Black Panther Lucy, who told me what was going on, because she transforms, and she's the feminine, sensual, creatrix side that deals with the 666, the cells, and deals with the 5 points of man and the pentagram. They are telling me, now, if you all can find this, because I love the way you all are smarter than me in a lot of ways, and you're very good at researching, and you find things I don't always know and see, and I'm so tired and tied up, I don't always have the energy or time to look. But you all, a lot of you are very educated and degreed, and you're just good at researching, and I appreciate having you all in my corner and in my life. Let me tell you something I saw, and I don't want to get too much into it, but it ties into Poseidon, the god of the sea, because I have to figure all of this out, and it ties into Osiris, which is NIPSEY. NIPSEY's energy and the water and the land and agricultural fertility. NIPSEY showed me, again, he was wet, but he was covered, he had some mud, thick mud. And I said, what? NIPSEY, where have you been? Why are you full of mud? And then when I looked down at his feet, he started moving the mud. I saw this thick, black, sticky, slippery liquid all over his feet, all over his toes, all in between his toes. And he was in the water. And there was land around it. It looked like I saw a lake nearby. Yes, I first saw the mud start, and then I saw the oil. And I said, oh, you found it. So they must be drilling. He said, yes, they're drilling for oil. And he was diving down, and he found it, and he came back up, and I said, wow, so this would tie to you, because this ties into what Osiris, the god of the underworld, is about and what he does. And when I dealt with Bruce Lee, let me tell you what I found. Bruce Lee also told me when he died, the energy of the Egyptian eagle Horus was on him. For some way, a reason, Bruce also represents Horus. The Egyptian eagle part of him. He is wearing Horus, which would also go back to Samael. So I'm looking at this, and you know Bruce is a Sagittarius. Bruce's birthday is November 27th. He was born November 27, 1940. When I add that up, I get 25, which would be a 7. He's a 7. Very spiritual man. Very esoteric, high intellectual man, and looks at everything about justice and balance, the Dharma. And then his death date was July 20th, which others died that day, celebrities died that day, very powerful day they picked for him, July 20th, 1973. I add that up, and I get a 54, which would be a 9, as well as an upside down 6. I add up Brandon's death date, March 31st, 1993, and get a 7 plus a 22, which be an 11. That's a high-level occult number. He was very mystical on the other side of his father. More esoteric, more mystical, more dealing with the spirit world, but still was very good with martial arts because his father had started teaching him as a little boy. So they were like two sides of the same source, Bruce and his son, Brandon. Then when I looked at it, I'm trying to hurry, y'all, or I'll just come back. I know I'm probably going over what I said too long. I said, when we're dealing with, because I saw NIPSEY come out of the water, and then it's something that's confusing me about it, because when I was looking at TANISHA, and I remember before because she released a video last week, and before she released a video, I had said that I saw her still drinking and getting high, and I had said that NIPSEY's family, the sister's going to take her back to court. She's going to get served, and possible jail time, jail issues. And I see some of that stuff has come up because she did go, and I think they have to go soon, so y'all let me know the next date, because I'm going to come back, if not, probably try to come back tomorrow to try to finish this, or the day after. And the way she's talking is a guy and a dog in the Instagram video. They say she took it down, but people copied it. You cannot really understand everything she's saying. Like, she's slurring. And then she says, my baby's father never disrespected me. And you know she has other children. She's saying she talked to NIPSEY 30 minutes before he was killed. Okay. And it's clear, like I said, she's on something. She's on something. Pills and potions, I don't know. It's something. Because of the way she was speaking. But then saying she's not upset with anybody, she's fine, she wants to let everybody know she's alive. So I'm not the only one that has noticed this, and she still has legal problems because of DUI, driving drunk. I don't really want to say this. When I looked at TANISHA, and she's sitting there saying, I'm fine, and she's, don't get me wrong, she's a beautiful girl. She's got the dimples. She's got the little diamonds in the cheek. I think dimples are gorgeous, you know, because I don't know if you can see them. I got two big ones, right here. I think she's a gorgeous girl. I'm not going to take that from her. Something's real wrong up here. Something's wrong. She's a beautiful little girl. NIPSEY makes pretty babies anyway, because the one he got by Lawrence, absolutely gorgeous. The little girl to me looks like NIPSEY, but it also looks like TANISHA. So I give credit where it's due. I think she's a gorgeous girl. I looked at that video, and then I laid the cards here. TANISHA, I don't care what anybody says, because I've had some people attack me and send me emails and call me all kind of whores because of what I said about TANISHA. And I'm not the only one that said this. Actually, these are facts, and there's court documents before I said it, and how she was displaying what she does and different niggas she be with all up on Instagram. But then people are threatening to hurt me, claiming they're her relatives, and said I better not say nothing else about her. So I'm saying something about her. It's absolutely ridiculous, these people. Now, I'm not the only one that does readings. Psychics do readings on YouTube every day, either about NIPSEY, TANISHA, the baby, Lauren, or someone. But you're not death-threatening them, but you're sending threats to me. I'm not going to stop doing the readings unless you can prove that I'm lying about what I said about her. And as I said, when I did the, I'm not worried about that shit, because I'm not slandering and trashing anybody, and I'm saying alleged reading, but I don't have to allege this one, because you all see it. And the courts have. She's still on probation. And she's sitting there on the Instagram, even TMZ, they're making fun of it. But you're not fucking with TMZ. But you want to do that to me, and you're not fucking with every other psychic that's doing a reading. There's a whole bunch of readings. Thousands, I'm sure, of readings up there. But you're telling me I better not say another thing about her. I better not do it. No, well, that's why I'm doing it tonight. That's why I got time, cuz. That's why I took time to do it tonight. Because we all have the evidence of what I've said. Now, this thing, let me tell you something. TANISHA, when I sat there and I watched that reading, and she's looking so calm. She has that jogging suit on, got her hair blonde and pulled up, and looking so cute. And I sat and I looked at it a couple more times, and I'm laying the cards out, because I'm like, what's going on with Sam? And yeah, Star. There's a lot of things I've said have already come out. And when I look, there's something about her mouth. When she's saying, I'm fine and I'm alive and God got NIPSEY. When I said something about God got him and, you know, we were still close. And then when she said, thank you, John. And they asked her, they said, well, somebody asked her something about he's from the past. She said, he's not from my past. He's from my present. And you know what? And then she said, you know what? I ain't going to even say it. I ain't going to say it. Basically, trying to say they still was fucking. And she had said it before, like a few weeks ago. They're trying to show, and I don't know why you're doing that. You know, why do you, I don't know, it's clear she wants attention, and she feels very slighted by this, and she's extremely angry and extremely jealous. Let me tell you something, and I'm willing to be wrong, and you all know I am willing to be wrong, and I will correct something if you tell me that I'm wrong. When I slowed it slower, and I looked at her, and I looked at her mouth, and something I saw with the darkness in her mouth, like, you know how we're talking, and you know, there's no light in your mouth. And as I'm seeing this, and I looked at one side of her mouth, I saw like one of the canines on the side, and the way she leaned back and cocked her mouth. I said, oh my God. This girl is vicious and violent. I don't know why I got that, and this is alleged. This is a reading. That's all this is. This is a spiritual reading. I heard her in the spirit. This girl has a temper, and when she gets drunk, high, because I don't want to just say it's alcohol. She gets out of control, and she starts to say whatever comes up, what comes out. And it doesn't matter who's listening. It doesn't matter who's around. She'll say things that could cause her problems later, but this girl has a temper where she can get so angry where she cannot think straight. She just sees red. She sees blood, and she wants to fight. And I'm hearing her. And this is not just one time I heard her do it. When she gets that way, and she's very jealous, very territorial, very vindictive. And she right now is extremely hurt. I will say that. She's extremely hurt because NIPSEY's not here. And she's out of body. She's not really balanced in her body. Half of her astral is out. Half of her energetic field, half her soul is literally floating outside of the body and torn. All around the third eye, back of the head, heart, third chakra, all around the sex organs. All of this is devastated because she knows she's not going to have him physically anymore. And it is killing her and devastating her. She's having a hard time. A lot of depression. I even hear the word split personality bipolarism with her. Because sometimes she doesn't know if she's going or coming, or like she's in a daze, like a fog. Like, this is not real, what happened to her. And she is very jealous of Lauren. She's jealous of that baby. That is also what I'm getting. And she's jealous of the title and the position. She's still holding a grudge about this. and very vindictive, even though she said there is no grudge. Right now, she's extremely angry. And I actually allegedly hear her, I'll say in the past, having confrontations with girls, having confrontations with women, actually going to where someone is to physically confront them and having like weapons. I've seen her do this before and have some girls with her, and actually have some males that know about this too, that participated in this, like a girl gang. I don't know why, but I am getting, if she's not now, she was in some type of girl gang, like the female side of a gang, or she hangs with and affiliates with them and has done vicious, violent things to other women. Then I saw, I don't want to get into this, so I'm not going to say all of it, but I started drawing the picture. I saw a park, and I saw a lake. I saw grass, area around the park. Right in front of the park, I saw a parking space and a car, but it wasn't a lot of cars. I don't think this was like daytime or like really early in the morning. No, I'm not just saying it's the drugs. I'm saying she's with a gang that would do stuff, and she would get angry and violent and would initiate it and say, I want you to go with me, or I'm gonna get this bitch. And I literally see her leaving, going to, but she didn't tell them. She's very methodical and, hi Juan, I'm fine, and sneaky. She like to roll up on you. Even if y'all had some words, you don't know when she's rolling up on you. And I've seen her be violent. I also see problems with her childhood and the mother. Her mother. I wonder about Tanisha's mother. And where's her mother and father, and what happened with them? Because there's a gap. Hey, Sharon. A gap with her relationship with the mother and father when she was little. Like something happened. I don't know if there was a displacement or there was drama, a separation with the mother, father, her. She was little. Something's not right with her that stems from her childhood that she still has not addressed, and there's problems and chaos and conflict in her family. Now, I don't know, because I said, oh my God, it bothered me so bad. There was a young man, allegedly, that is associated, and I don't think it's the baby daddy. Says she had a child young. I don't think it was a baby daddy that was just killed, but that bothers me too. In 2017, Tanisha had a baby with this other producer and music manager that was murdered. But the wounds don't match that I'm seeing, so that's why I don't think it's him. I saw that this man knows her, and thank you, Juan. And I saw men approach him at this park. And it was the water. And I saw a girl. The girl was hiding. And I talked to her. She was over down. She had slid down and was dipping low. And while she was dipping low, this man did this and this. And when he shot the young man that I saw, I literally saw the bullet go in the head and the brain bust out the back. Then I seen another one hit him in the head and it bucked. And I'm watching and I said, oh my goodness. And then, I probably shouldn't have said that. Because I don't know if this is alleged what I saw. It just could be my imagination. And I looked at her and I say, well, okay. And that's what I didn't want to say the last reading, when I saw murder and violence all over the reading. And when I saw that TANISHA was tied to Eric Holder's being locked up and in court, I saw it tied to his case from an assassinated person, but I felt another male. Not just Nipsey being assassinated, it was another male. And I think Eric knows how she is. I might have been affiliated with her or been a part of some things that she was a part of. And I'm saying, okay, well, maybe what I'm just seeing is not her directly, but indirectly associated with what I just described to you with the water. I think that's a good way, Shelley. Thank you. Thank you. That's exactly what I'm saying, because I didn't see her do it, but I saw her know about it and participate and orchestrate the thing. And I saw them do this. And I'm looking at her and I said, oh, the way she's sitting there looking, she seems so harmless and sweet and innocent, and that she really loved Nipsey and Miss Nipsey. But let me tell you what I see here. When I also look at the cards, it's so fucked up. I didn't even want to do this. I mean, this reading is so goddamn fucked up. Because you know what it says here? It's showing me that it's her, it's another group of women there. It's a lot of gossip right now. It's a lot of talking. And there is someone, a Queen of Pentacles. So that would be what, a Virgo, a Capricorn. Someone that's an earth sign that is tied to the gossip around this, that already has money, but that is helping to push this hard struggle. And it's also asked about Sam, that Sam has gone through with this hurt and fighting around this child, these children, and feeling like she is entitled to money. But then there are other women that are also involved in this, along with this King of Pentacles that has come up again, that are secretly spying on Sam and Nipsey's family and talking and strategizing, getting ready to fight, trying to take rights to ideas, logos, music, intellectual properties, real estate. And I want to say too, the funny thing that's also coming up is China. So if you hear something coming up around real estate and Nipsey's property and around there, I don't know if there are Chinese investors that have already bought land in that area where Nipsey's building is, or empowerment zones in California, or thinking about it, because I looked up, there's going to be a park in California in 2020. And I think it's around that area. I don't know if they've already started the construction. I don't know if one of the investors is also Chinese, or a Chinese company that is interested in that property and surrounding properties, or will be investing in building something on his property, trying to bid for it, or tied into owning rights or purchasing something dealing with the 2020. You see how the Chinese thing, just like it came up when I told you about Motorola. And I'm wondering, how does that tie into Nipsey and to any Nipsey's products? And then when I looked at it and I saw the demons on the Motorola sign, and then you turned, yeah, but that's not her real name. Her name's Tanisha Foster. And she was never married to him. So she's just trying to, she's still, let me tell you something. She's in love with him, very obsessed with him now. She cannot rest. This is bothering her. He's on her. He even comes around her and comes to see her. She has a lot of guilt about this because this didn't go the way that she wanted this to go. She misses him. She feels terrible about what has happened to him. It's tearing her up. Hello, beautiful High Priestess Gwen. It's tearing her up inside. She can't really get right with this about what happened to him. And she's still very possessive of him. And I'm going to tell you the words I'm hearing too. When it comes to this, she's going to fight for the money, fight over the estate, fight for the daughter that she didn't fight him for before. And somebody is encouraging this girl to do this. Somebody's telling her to do this because they're telling her about future monies that she's going to have access to and recognition, telling her they pushing her, but at the same time they laughing and they gossiping behind her back at the same time because they looking at how it benefit them if she do this while they sitting back kikiing, you see. And it's also a very powerful man involved that's trying to lead her and school her, but she's not always listening and doing everything the right way, and she's suffering. She's suffering things she's done and she said and secret things, and she's obsessed with this man. Okay. So I want y'all to see, like when I saw the Motorola and I looked at that and I saw the 3 demons there and had ties into his enterprises or equipment associated with his enterprises and music and recording and phones and things. And guess what? And then I looked and it showed the history of Motorola. And then there's another company that Motorola sold itself to. Guess what that company is? Chinese. The Chinese own Motorola, or a large portion of it. Look it up. You see how that comes here. And when I say this, Bruce doesn't say nothing. He look at me. So I'm seeing how that goes into NIPSEY's business and the music and recording. And what's so fucked up about this is now Sam is so hurt and heartbroken he can't trust no goddamn body. He don't know who to fucking trust. And people behind Sam back trying to set Sam up. And I don't know why, but I heard the word poison. Sam needs to be careful because Sam is a target. And a song. Let me tell y'all this here. When I told y'all in that reading on NIPSEY, I woke up and I heard Snoop Dogg, Murder Was the Case that they gave me. Okay, there's another Eritrean young man that was killed by Snoop, bodyguard or driver or somebody, and they was trying to charge Snoop for it. But Snoop said he didn't kill him, and that was around the same time Snoop brought that song out, Murder Was the Case that they gave me. I think he was acquitted. And that young man dead. They said the man, I don't know if he wanted to be a rap, but the young man had a mental impairment. He was kind of slow. And I said, I saw that video the other day, and I said, wow, so it was tied to that song. That's around the time it came, and I wonder why that song came up. I mean, but it wasn't saying he did it with the other young man, but the man was just like Nipsey. He was a descendant of Eritrea, and it happened to him. And then his other friend, Fats, he was shot really bad, and then he survived, and then he was shot again, and he died. They were very close. He was also from Eritrea. Okay, back to this reading. Sam, I looked at him and I said, oh my God, because he can't trust anyone. He doesn't know who to trust. He knows it was inside. He thinks and rethinks. He remembers and then he remembers again. He plays something out and then he replays it again. A lot of times he cannot sleep because this is a nightmare for him. He's so hurt inside. And he misses his brother, and he knows that this was plotted on his brother. And the things that they believed about being open and healing the community and being accessible, Sam no longer believes that because he believes that's why his brother's not here. Yes, Sandman niggas, thank you, sir. And he doesn't trust and he doesn't want to be open around these people. Sam is being spied on. Sam is being watched. And this man, the one that keeps coming up, the King of Pentacles, the one that has street and gang and underworld ties, drug ties, as well as political ties and police ties, is very obsessed with Sam and very jealous of Sam. He is watching Sam. He's watching to see what comes up online. He's watching Sam in California. to see what is going on, what his moves are, what the legal moves are. And he has celebrated Nipsey's death. But what bothers me about this is that they want to kill Sam too, because they feel like if we don't have Sam and we don't have people in Nipsey's family to oppose this, then we don't have to worry about anybody and we can take everything. And Sam feels it and he knows it and he's talking about it and he thinks about it and he replays it, and he also has survivor's guilt. He blames himself. What could I have done? What could I have done differently? What could I have said? My brother would be here. This is my fault. He blames himself. He's beating himself up because he's here and his brother's not physically here, but his brother is with him telling you have to do what you have to do. You have to fight for me. And he feels so much pain and so much guilt. And when I looked at him, Sam said, you know what? I don't even care no more. And I said, oh, God. That's what you mean? He said, this hurt me so bad. What they did to my brother and the way they did this to my brother, that I got to find out who did this to my brother. And there's got to be justice for what they did to him. I can't even live. I can't even be right behind this shit. Oh, really? He's a Pisces? Okay. He said, I can't. He said, nothing don't, it's not too much matter. Other than my family and, of course, the children. He said, it's nothing going to be right in this world. It's never going to be right. And I'm never going to be right until I find out who did this to my brother. And that the bloodline, that's the type of bloodline that he has too, that war. They ready, and there are people around that we don't see, that we don't know that's ready. On the ground with it, on the low. See, I ain't getting into that. And what's fucked up, because Sam is so emotional, this must be him, since you say he's a Pisces, because this water is the cup, the knight. He's coming up as a young man, and he's very immature, very emotional about this. Immature, not meaning ignorant. Just in his emotion, he's still crying. He holds it together when he come out in public, but inside he's like a baby. He's so heartbroken, and I understand. He's like my baby brother. And this is now about family, because the Ten of Pentacles has came here, and it's so fucked up because the Ten of Swords is right by it, and the Nine of Swords. That's why I know he's not sleeping. He cannot get this. He cannot accept this, because he keeps, let me watch this video. Let me watch this person. What they say to me when they shook my hand. What they promised me. Certain people, he's real sensitive and spiritual, but intellectual too, and street. Because when you look at him, he looks like this Ethiopian man. But then when you hear Sam talking, it's funny. Because it's like it's two people. Because he's sounding so hood. But the way he looks, it's like this is not coming out of this man's mouth. You know, and he's brilliant, just like his brother. But it's like more cooler, more on the other side. Probably doing more with the business. But getting hood when he got about his brother. Like he shot the gun up in the air, big you. So he's really doing a lot of analytics right here and looking at people, but they don't know that he's doing it. And he's backing up and he's chopping up everything and everybody. And he's going over the day, and he's going over before the day, and he's going over after day. Then he rests, and then he go over it again and again and again. And now he can't even grieve. Because he's thrown in the middle of a battle, and there's all types of conflict in the family. And it is the males. Sam is one of the males. And then there's the father. And I'm worried about the father's health, because this looked like secretly this is taking a toll on the father. And I'm wondering how the father's feeling, because he misses Armias. He misses Nipsey. And he seems like a very kind, very gentle man, the father. And he doesn't bring a lot of attention to himself. He doesn't talk a lot. But this is killing him. Because he loves Nipsey so much. This tore up this family. Because they love that boy. And he loved them. There's so much chaos and conflict. right now in confusion and is fighting. And then they're dealing with this with TANISHA and the little girl, his beautiful daughter. And TANISHA's gearing up and being very vindictive and out of rage and anger because she wants that recognition, that spot, and that fame coming along with being NIPSEY's wife, being the mother, and everybody's not really treating her the way they're treating Lauren. And you see Lauren staying out of this. She's being the cool Sagittarius on the outside. She ain't out here with that. She's grieving privately. She's handling this privately and handling her money and her baby. And he came to me too and he said, I don't want my brother or my family to make it difficult for Lauren to get the money that I left her. I don't know if that's up in the air or some conflict about that. He said, I want Lauren to be able to move on with her life and take care of herself and take care of my son. He said, that's what I wanted. I don't want her stuck. I don't want her having a difficult time financially. I don't want her involved in any stress, strife, fighting, and bullshit. He said, I don't want that for her. I want her to do, hi Tracy, hi sis, do whatever she wants to do. I want her to go wherever she wants to go. I want to make sure she's happy and she has her money. I said, okay. I will state that. I don't know if that's going on, but that's what he said to me. So I have to do what he tells me to do. Okay. What bothers me is the fighting and the conflict and the father here. NIPSEY's father's here, and Samael is here, and there's a woman in the family too, and there's a child. I don't know if they have any pets, but there's the child here, and this is what the conflict and the fighting and the confusion and about what is their property. Who is on what children is on what percentage do they get, how do we break this up, how do we prepare to fight, and this nightmare of having to deal with this and the fight about his estate and the family holdings and the birthright and the divine inheritance is about him being plotted on, methodically assassinated and murdered. This is why they are now in this position, and this cannot be real to them. It was a nightmare for NIPSEY, and it is a nightmare for them, and this legally is not moving as fast as they want this to move. Samael or the people involved with TANISHA, because the money has not moved to her like she thought the money would move as quickly. It's moving a little bit slow, and then a lot of lies have been told, as you all know, and the records have been sealed right now. Eric Holder, thank you, Tracy. Well, please pray for me, Tracy, because I'm getting a lot of negative attacks behind this and even being threatened in my private emails about this. I'm seeing here when it comes to the court and trying to get money, right now it's a no. Yeah, and because that ties into what I told you, doing sneaky stealing from NIPSEY, stealing from the family, stealing his birthright, stealing his divine inheritance, even trying to steal. People are coming in with the real estate and with possible oil and minerals. That's what I'm seeing. And I'm seeing these international investors that are dealing with the low-income or empowerment zones out there. Y'all, we got to watch the news and stuff and see as time go on and the investors and who buys into California. See if we see China. Just like it's coming up all over the reading. And let me know. And I'm seeing the stealing and the money they think they finna get, and they excited and talking about this, is around the child, and it is around NIPSEY's intellectual property, and like the trademark and the property and the music even, and clothes and money from that, and chopping up his business is taking people. There are people scavenging off of it, and how do they plan to steal it and get it, and why? Through his assassination. That's why I said so fucked up. and see, they want to do this because they set the boy up and kill him. And now some people are glad this man has been killed. They're excited about it because they think about the money they're getting ready to steal. And the intellectual property they're getting ready to steal. Or try to steal and make millions off this man. And they're ready to fight this man for it. And fight his family too. And then there's TANISHA that's heartbroken over this. And the three-way situation here that was going on where she felt like if she couldn't have him, she didn't want nobody to have him. She didn't want him to be happy. She didn't want him to be with another woman. So now since you couldn't have him, you don't want to be with nobody. So that's not the reason why she upset that he's physically dead. You upset because now you can't fuck him neither. See? But it's not because, it's because the vindictiveness and it's a lot of rage in this girl. Rage in this girl. Anger, and she's like, I'm going to get y'all. Because y'all wouldn't honor me and acknowledge me, and I wasn't the one. So now I'm going to hold on to my daughter. I'm going to hold on to what rights I feel like I should get as her mother and as NIPSEY baby mama. And I had the baby bind. So now y'all are going to have to give me mine. And it's for selfish, very treacherous reasons. Because she didn't do that before. She had an understanding with NIPSEY. Now you want to make them pay, and you're going to hold on and have this tug of war with his family because you want to take from him too. And also she's a liar. She's saying one thing when it's really another, and she has a lot of treacherous secrets that I'm seeing here. She's going to fight this out, drag this out over this man laying in state, ain't even cold good, and you want to do this. And then there's the King of Pentacles here, this man who helped to set him up because death is here with the devil, which also again shows addictions, drugs and sexual addictions and obsessions with this man. And now you are obsessed with his brother Samael, and you are stalking. This man is also stalking and spying on Samael, trying to catch Samael up. See, that's what worries me about this. And she is also showing, Tanisha's coming up as the Queen of Swords because she was his lover. And she is upset since she was his lover, but also she's the one that's very treacherous right now and has all of these secrets. But she's thinking about the good memories and the times that they had, but also the fighting. She wants to fight with this other woman. And she wants to fight with Samantha. And she wants to fight with Samael. She wants to do this because she cannot have him as her lover. And she's very, very treacherous and vicious about that. And there's a lot of shadow things lurking here. A lot of treacherous things lurking that I pray come out with her because her mind is not good. Emotionally, mentally, psychologically, her mind is not good. It's out of balance. And I'm just hearing a lot of rage and revenge. And it's like she is gearing up to fight. They are sitting back thinking now, strategizing, getting ready for the fight. So this is all I had. I'm going to read a little bit more time to do, but I'll come back. I'll try to come back tomorrow and finish this because I want to look at this one again about the court proceedings, because unfortunately right now I'm showing Samael and NIPSEY's family is not going to get the justice right now that they deserve. This is a group that is connected to organized crime that had to do with his murder and the assassination, and now they are trying to block it. And what I'm feeling too, the authorities know that both sides, The armies are waiting to hear who did what, who said what. How did this OG get laid out like this here? When you're supposed to get permission from top, from OG on top, to hit a made man. Nipsey was a made man. He wasn't just anybody. And this was done. And the courts know that if we release everything, oh, baby, they's not playing, baby. They're not playing. That's why when he said, send a message, like I said, no, because I know what that is. I know what that means. I ain't finna do that shit. Well, not direct, not with what you said, because I know, and the courts know. They're already sitting back polishing iron things, metal things. They getting it. They just waiting. They don't want to release it for that reason. I think that's one of the main reasons, because they know what is going to happen if they hear the wrong shit. So we need to keep this cool right now. We need to keep this on standby. And you know what I wondered I can't find anything on? Eric Holder's brother. The one that was supposedly in the car, allegedly in the car with him when he went over there and shot Nipsey. Where he at? Is he really dead? Or is he hiding? They say it was a minor. Excuse me. Can't find none on him. But I'm telling you, a lot of people are planning to come up on this here. They were hidden, and now they're trying to get in apprentice positions with this. And it bothered me because when I looked at Nipsey in the water and he was wet and he had the mud on him, and then I looked at his feet and I said, Lord, you got oil on your feet. And I said, oh, so now it has, they've been went into full drilling mode because you didn't have the oil on your feet the last time. You had on shoes, they was white. Now your feet is black with pure black gold. And he say, and I looked at it, water, especially dealing with Poseidon or Neptune. And Myers and Tanisha split our money 50-50. I was more like 80-20. I know, Cheryl. She didn't really have that baby that much. And water is life force. So we were going into the water, and even though we're dealing with the oil is life force. Blood of the earth. And the blood is family inheritance, divine right. Land is real estate. It's earthbound inheritance because the water and the oil and the minerals is bound into the life force blood of the land. That is, and then, you know, Queen Khalifa's very upset. They're still warring about what happened to them. And the war is still this, what we see, and how they've created this. The slavery, bondage, and theft of the people, the black Indians in California, it's coming up now. This is still, and Queen Khalifa, still up. And she said there will be more war. Because this is normal. And I said, yes, Queen? Why? She said, because it is a continuation of the struggle for liberation, of the violation of the people. Say, yes, ma'am. Yes, Queen Mother. Excuse me. And when I look at this here, what else I want to say that bother me? Yes, when I saw the 3 demons on Nipsey's sign. And, oh yeah, because I put a video up there. You can go look on YouTube and you can go look at the history. It's written. You just have to read it. It's not been destroyed. They wrote it. That's all. They didn't put it in the books and teach you, but they wrote it. They didn't get rid of it. And they try to say it's a myth, but it wasn't a myth because they were here before the Europeans got here. And then when I looked at the California flag, it was the flag when they took California from the Mexicans. And the star, it's a bear, it's a grizzly bear on the California flag, and then the 5-point star is red, and then you see the soil blood red on the California flag. And this was done when they took it from Mexican rules in 1846. Yes, we did with Kali Matu, and because those go back to those gods, Kali came up, and then when we're dealing with CERN, we're dealing with her lover, V. Oh, this slips my mind at this point, dealing with a V, the god, the male god. Okay. What bothers me here is when they're saying that when I see the 3 demons that are now being placed on the signs through a ritual. So Sam them definitely need to do a lot of spiritual protection around themselves. They're going to have to go high spiritual with this. I saw the 3 sitting like pyramid style, and I saw Satan came to me. And Satan spoke to me. And I saw him with the 5-pointed star over the sign. And the ritual was done with the circle cast. And he told me, he started explaining. I said, yes. And I listened. I said, oh no, that's what it is. He said, yes, that's what this is. And they're going to try to take everything demonically and suck it out, like you take the blood out, the life force. Other powerful entities and people are trying to take it all from the family. Like they took Nipsey's physical life and then tried to do the curse on him and bind him. But he's seeing it, and the gods are with him, Khalifa, and the goddesses, and the god of the earth. So with that, I looked at Egyptian spirituality and mythology. Would we be dealing with the earth being male? Would that be Geb, and then the sky Nut? But then I also feel the earth is very fertile. The earth is very female because she's gushing. After Ermias' funeral, Money never went home. I know, Cheryl. And she's releasing for Nipsey. It's very orgasmic the way I see her releasing. And then when I saw that at that paw, and I saw that female, let me tell you something. Now, let me make this clear. Now, I know Nipsey would call himself Osiris and say that Lauren was Isis. And that is true. However, Lauren's child is the second child. So Nipsey was still Osiris when he would that come to me. But he was also, Tanisha's a goddess too. I have to give it to her. Now, I can't take that from her. Yes, but she won too. She either is Lauren's spiritual counterpart. Lawrence is Isis, so she'd be her spiritual sister, or I think there'll be sisters, because I pick up, since Tanisha came first and he was still Osiris. Hi, Goddess Queen. Hi, beautiful lady. I pick up Tanisha would be Nebhet. So she would, of course, she could become the guardian. Yes, Tanisha would be more of the dark goddess, more on the side where Set is. She has no problem. That is naturally her element, and she thrives there. So you're dealing with 2 Egyptian gods. You understand, Star, what I'm saying? Yes, I can't forget her and say that it was only one queen, which is Lauren would be Isis. We have to go to the other side of Isis. You'd be Nebhet. Now, she's just not balanced. But she was that part for Osiris and Nipsey that also benefited him now. I'm not going to say she didn't benefit him now. That side of her at one point he liked. And there was a heavy soul tie and sexual connection. They Yeah, I'm concerned about the grandmother too, baby, but I didn't want to say nothing. Thank you, Tracy. Glad to say they plotting against his grandmother's house, but the house is going to be empty. His fiance and daughter has already left the main house. I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said it, because I was feeling the same thing. Set up and poison and assassination of the family. And that's what I'm trying to mention to you, the three demons here. And Satan came in here and spoke to me and explained this, what you just said, baby. It scared the shit out of me. And I think now that makes sense. You saw it like I'm seeing it. Thank you confirming what I'm saying. I'm glad another seer saw it. Thank you. And he looked at me. Like I said at the beginning, he said, you. And you go. Send a message. You send what I said. I knew then. Oh. I'm worried about that beautiful grandmother. I'm worried about Samael, the mother, the sister. Because I don't want it to be his. Especially when I see what they're doing here. They're laughing and they're plotting and they're glad this young man is gone. They're glad his physical body's gone. They plan to rape everything and then burn it down. Like burn it down spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and psychically. For you all that don't understand, that's where the battle begins. Spiritually, there are witches all over this. And they are female. They're female as well as male. Satan is all over this reading. He introduced himself to me tonight. Because I didn't see him at first, but I started picking up on him because I've been so busy. And he walked in here tonight, he told me. And he said, this is what we do. They target a motherfucker first. He say, we target, we fixate, we find the target. We focus on them. They spy on them to get them down pat their energies and everything. This is what predators do, baby. He said, then we secure the target. I mean, you get some kind of contract, you get some kind of deal with them to secure them in. Once you secure them in, you isolate them. You pull them over on your side. You tell them who they can't talk to, where they can go, where they can't go, what they can do, what they can do. Then we consolidate. Get all their shit together. Get all their resources and shit together. Then we annihilate them. Their ass come up missing. Ass come up shot. Ass come up fucked up. Then you decapitate them. Once you got them, and they don't sign, and you got them where they wanna, and you are holding the resources, they are physically dead, then you decapitate the family. Anybody that you feel could come against and sue for what's rightfully theirs, which is what you took from their loved one, and kill them. Now you won't come in and chop it and slice and dice it. Yes, and you don't want no opposers. Or you're going to drain it. You're going to liquefy. That's what he was saying to me. He said, decapitate all option to keep the rights to the company and the money. And I'm listening while he's saying it. I said, yes, yes, sir, yes, Satan. Okay. Who else come to me? I go downstairs because I got to get something to drink off of this here. I was looking at the figure greedily. Thank you for sharing it. I come downstairs, so I got to make me something to drink, man. And who pops up in my house? Now, he popped up before, a few months ago, because a young man that I wanted to get to, Kurt Cobain. You know, the guitar player that was married to Courtney Love, that they said was a real bad drug addict, that killed itself. So he shot himself, I think, with the shotgun. Shot himself in the face. Oh, I just felt like I heard something scrambling through here like a damn animal, a cat or something with some nails clicking on my damn floor. Kurt Cobain. I was getting ready to read him. And then I heard somebody and he popped up. Goddamn, Anton LaVey, motherfucking bald head ass, popped up in here and said, now, Alexyss, now you know, what are you doing? You know you can't do that. And Anton LaVey! He said, yes, you know me. Yeah, I know your bad ass. I said, Anton LaVey, oh, the fuck? He said, you don't talk to Kurt without talking to me. Okay, we won't be talking then. So I can't never talk. So yeah, you can talk to him, but you gotta talk to me first. So I didn't get to finish Kurt Cobain because then Anton, let me tell you the way, if you don't know who I'm looking at, I'm talking about Anton LaVey is the badass motherfucking high priest. He physically dead now, but his ass still alive in the ethers. He was over the Church of Satan over L.A. All the stars go to Anton LaVey. I seen Sammy Davis Jr. with him. Jane Mansfield was with him. Because they say that when Jane Mansfield went on the trip and she died in a car accident, her head was cut off. But then they said no, her head was not cut off. The wig came off. But she was with... Why you go talk? Oh, hell. No, Anton cool. Anton cool. Anton is a real motherfucker OG and a player. Because he was, let me tell you, he talked to me low. Motherfucker talk low and smooth. Alexyss. I said, yes. You ain't gonna fuck me up. He said, no, you know, I know your father. And I said, oh Lord, his ass didn't come to your church, did he? He said, he wouldn't answer. But he said, no. He said, you know, I liked your father's music and his style. I said, oh, I didn't know you talked to the black people. Then I said, oh, that's right. You had Sam Dave Jr. over there. I don't know everybody you know. I ain't trying to be funny, disrespectful or nothing. Okay, he said, yes. He said, you know, your father was very flamboyant and charming. He was standing over to he didn't stand in front of me. The motherfucker was standing on the side of me talking, cutting. So I didn't look at him 2 minutes. But I looked way quick. He was looking at me up and down. And they said, you know, your father was murdered. And I said, I know. He said, actually, it was a mob hit. And okay. I said, so you do know who? He said, I know your father. He said, but you cannot do this reading. It was Kurt and it was, no, wait a minute. It's another one. That's who. It was another one too. That boy that was with what his name? That was crying about that child support. Tell me, what more do you want from me? The white boy that was also with him in the Fast and the Furious. He said I couldn't talk to his ass either. You know that cute white boy that the cop, he got blowed up in the car? I wanted to do the reading on him. And he said, no, you don't. I said, okay, then I don't. No, I don't. You right. No, I do not. Okay, why I do not, Anton LaVey? He said, but Tyree. He was with Tyree. Paul Walker ass. Paul Walker asked me to help him at Kurt Cobain. It was a few months ago. And I started trying to talk to Paul. And then Paul started talking about Tyree. And asked me how Tyree was doing. And then that's when I heard some shit. And I seen Anton LaVey bald headed like he had a fresh that just shaved his head and put some oil on it. And had a black robe on. And he said, Alexyss, what do you think you... I said, nothing. I was just... He said, no, you're not going to do that. I said, well, can I do it? No, that's just till you talk to me. Because Paul belongs to me. Because Paul disobeyed me. I said, man, he was with that Illuminati shit too. He was Illuminati. I said, oh, fuck. I said, okay, what do I have to do? He told me. I said, I can do that. Okay. And then I got his book. And you need to light some... Wait a minute, she said you need to light some candles. No, Tracy, but let me tell you. Whether we like it or not, y'all, we look at these people, we look up to these people, we respect these people. Sometimes these people are not what we think. So Anton LaVey did not hurt me. He didn't threaten me. So if that's what you think, no, that's not what happened. He didn't do anything dirty, but his ass came in here last night. Again, yeah, Paul started talking, but he wasn't telling what Anton was telling about him. I didn't know that, and I said, just like he know this shit about my dad, and he knew my dad, and I said, so Paul is in your domain. So Paul did something, or he said he was involved in some things. And I say, okay, so you holding him honest? He said, yes. And he was real. It's something about Anton that Anton, even though he deal with Satan, is something about him that's very smooth. Tracy said, girl, when they come in like that, you have to pray them off because they were you. No, he didn't get in me, Tracy. I was asking him about these two here, with what was going on with NIPSEY and what was going on with the Kurt Cobain and what was going on with Paul Walker, because I was getting ready to jump into it. And, you know, they will say, you can't disrespect them. That's just like, if you didn't see the reading I did on Sandra Bland, as I was reading her, with the Egyptian goddess over the underworld, Hecate, she comes in and she said, you're not talking to her until you come to me, because she's in my realm. I protect her in the underworld. So it's not just like demons or anything like that. If there's someone over it and they're moving through the underworld, because Sandra Bland still has a lot of pain and issues. She said she was raped. She was murdered. She didn't kill herself. So Hecate was very upset with me. So that's what happened with that one. Tracy, she came over to read and said, you are not talking to her. And now you have offended me. I said, but I didn't know. I didn't know you were there. And she said, you're going to go get me my candle, and you're going to go get me this to eat, and you're going to do. So I had to do stuff for Hecate too, and put it on her altar. So, yes. So when he came in, and then he came in last night about NIPSEY, but he came in after Satan, which would make sense, because that's who over Anton. That's his God, Satan. And when Satan was calmly explaining it to me, Anton popped back up with his head clean, with that oil on it, and with that black robe on. He had on all black. Had his nice nails, fingernail, had a manicure and shit, and he was talking to me the same way. So I felt him, but I act like I didn't see him, but he knew I did. So I said, well, hello, Anton LaVey. He said, hi, I want to talk to you about. I said, yes, sir. I know what you want to talk to me about. And we talk. That's how I know what I know. I'm telling you what I'm telling you. But in my mind, everybody different. I'm not going to be scared of them and start shaking when they come here, because they're really not trying to do anything to me. I know they don't have to stay. Child, okay? You see what I'm saying, Tracy? See, I talk to them because they want to talk to me. And I learned from them. So he started telling me things about NIPSEY, and which I am sharing with you all, that scares me. So I think I've been on here long enough, y'all, to share with you because I'm kind of feeling a little bit woozy right now. I don't say it's that this damn what it name walking in me, because I don't think it's that, but I'm feeling the spirits in here. Uh, I'm sure it's probably late. So I just wanted to, because I wanted to keep my word to Nipsey, because I've been holding this for over a week, and he was upset with me. So I said, let me at least keep my word for this part. And again, you know, I'm saying things that come to me spiritually, but I will say allegedly, and I understand people don't like everything everyone says in the readings, but I have to say what the spirits bring to me to say, but it's not my intention to offend anybody. But, you know, I'm not going to not say something because somebody tells me what I better not say or that I'm offensive. Get over it or go find someone else to watch. You don't have to watch my readings. There's a whole bunch of people doing readings. Go watch them, but you're not going to control me and tell me what I cannot and cannot say. If a spirit comes in here and tells me they want me to read them, they want me to look at a particular area, they want me to say something, I'm going to listen to the spirit. I'm going to follow the spirit. Well, Nikki, they're going to have to protect themselves. It's not just going to happen for them. And we have to keep them in our prayers as well, because this really bothers me. That's why I'm going to keep up with it. I'm going to come back and I'm going to tell you what else is said, because it just bothers me so much how nasty this looks and how many people are involved with this that are really getting pleasure off of getting ready to scavenge on this man and suck everybody. If anybody is interested in a reading, they can contact me. I haven't answered, like I said in the beginning, in the past couple of days, because I needed to get this done. I needed to shut down and get this done. So I know it's not complete, but I want to give you something, so at least I can deal with this phase of it, and then I'll come back tomorrow. It says you are not offending anyone, but as you bring one or two, you can also bring... No, not you, Tracy. I'm saying humans have threatened me and said they got offended about what I said, and I better not talk about this anymore, and I better not wear blue anymore, and I better not say anything about Tanisha anymore. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about, not what you said, baby. No, not about the spirits. I understand what you're saying. I agree. I do have to be careful. I do have to cleanse myself. I do have to watch what beings come in here. I do have to watch my intentions, because I know they're not loyal to me, but at the same time, they picked me. I don't know why they picked me. I don't know why I have this gift. I don't know. But I'm very humble about it. I don't understand everything. I'm learning. But I'm grateful, but I don't know. So when they come in here, they're nice to me. They're heavy a lot of the times. And I do have to watch, like you said, Tracy. I do need to cleanse more when they come. But they are very respectful to me, and they educate me. I don't know why, but I'm thankful. And so I'm respectful. Even to the ones that people say are evil and shouldn't be respected. I respect all of them, as long as they respect me. Yeah, I didn't know. I'm just now understanding. I knew they would follow me as a little girl, and I would see these big black beings as tall as the ceiling, but my mother used to like to beat me and abuse me instead of train me. So I was born this way. But since I didn't know what they were and nobody helped me, I would just be terrified at night. I'd be up just scared of them, because I know, or I see them walking and I see the shadow across the wall. I knew I couldn't scream because my mother wasn't going to help me. So I don't think it's something to be arrogant or boastful about, because I've been scared my whole life of them. And I don't want to be scared of them anymore. That's why I'm not going to be scared of them anymore, because I was treated that way and abused because of the gift. There was a competition with me and my mother. And I have no problem with that, Trace. I'm fine. Like I said, I'm just like what I just told you, and the way I was treated because of this ability that my mother did not have, like I have. And being taught to be scared and be abused, I'm not going to be afraid anymore. So if they want to share, and if someone wants me to say something, anybody wants to come in here, I'm not going to run and be scared, because if you think they're going to hurt you, they will. because you're afraid of them, and they feed on fear. And I'm not living my life in fear anymore. It's just like my mother's grandmother started to train me. She would say, go. And I remember one lady, and then I'm going to go. One lady, she was a drug addict and an alcoholic. And she had like 4 children. And the father had them. I think a couple of fathers' families had them. And they wouldn't let her see them because she was a drug addict and a drunk, and she was prostituting. Well, I didn't have a problem with her being a drug addict, a drunk, and a prostitute. I wanted her to stop the drug addiction because it was tearing her up, because she was still relatively young. She was like in her late 30s, almost in her 40s. And I remember she was friends with my grandmother, but my grandmother introduced her to me, and she would put her on the phone, and she asked me to read her, and would she see the babies again, and they had started letting her see her babies, but they wouldn't let her come with the babies or let her go stay with her because she couldn't take care of them because she was an addict. But she was so sweet. I could tell she was a good person. And this is some of what I used to do. I had to create my own apprenticeship. The spirits created an apprenticeship, and they would train me, and people would let me in different places, like let me in the hospital room, the hospice, the funeral home. So she had the lady on the phone, and I said, I love you. Even though I never seen you, I love you. And I want you to stop drinking and taking drugs, because I want to see you, and I want to spend time with you, and I want to help you, because I'm afraid that if you don't today, you're not going to live long. She started crying, and she said that she felt it too. And I said, I need to come get you, or you go to my grandma's house. Let me pray with you. Let me help you. Meet me there. And she said, okay. And she was screaming and saying she didn't want to leave her children, but she was tired. And everybody treated her like a dog, but I didn't. And my grandmother didn't. But her family and how they treated her, called her names, won't let her see her children. About a week or 2 later, my grandmother said they found that girl dead. And I said, you remember I told her that? She said, yeah, I remember. And she said she felt it, but she still was getting high and drinking. And I understand, when you drink so long, you can't just cold turkey because it makes you sick. So she would have to wean off of it, and she would just, they made her feel like shit. She see the babies, they beat her down, so she feel worse and go get high and go drink. And I said, where is she? And my grandmother told me what funeral home she was at. And I said, can you ask her family if I have permission? I want to go talk to her. And they said, yes, you can go. The funeral director knows you're coming. They'll let you in. So I waited till the evening because it was like a summer funeral. They had her in like the wake where you could view her. And I walk in, and I told them who I was. They said, yes, we're expecting you. You can go see her. I signed. And she was in the front. And I walk over to her casket. I said, oh, hello. And I said, you look so pretty. She had this blue, like a baby blue lace gown. It was kind of light and sheer at the top with blue flowers. And then from the waist down, it was baby blue and a little bit pleated. And it was all the way down underneath the bottom of the casket. Had that part closed. And I leaned over and I grabbed her arm and I said, I'm just going to spend some time with you because you're so fast. You wouldn't spend time with me when you were in the body. And I just touched her. And I just held her. I spent time with her. And I cried because I said, we didn't have to meet this way. And I heard her say, I know. I know I didn't listen, and she was crying. Herself, the soul self, the real self, came, and she was standing at her head, because I was close to her, right here, the chin, the neck, the torso. And I'm on the bottom, like the arm right here. And I'm just holding and I'm rubbing. I said, okay, baby. And she's crying. She's standing there talking to me out of the body, out of the physical body. That bothered me. That's the second woman. The other one I got to see in hospice. And we sat there in hospice, and that's the first time that happened to me. I grew up with my grandmother in the projects. Her mother was my grandmom's buddy. And then she had all these children, but her children were older than me, so we didn't grow up with the children, except her son liked me, so I knew her son. But then this was the sister. My grandmother's friend's daughter was dying of cancer. And I went to it was a beautiful house, an old Victorian-style house. It turned into a hospice care center. And I was there. My grandmother said, well, come on, let's go. And my grandmother tells me, well, me and my friend are going to sit down here and keep up with the soap operas. You go put your chair by her bed. I said, why I got to do that? Just go on and go sit up there by her head. I said, really? I'm like really kind of scared. So I'm sitting here, and she's moaning. They're doping her up with morphine. Basically, what they do is kill the patient, cancer patient. Nothing else they can do. Chemo doesn't work and all that. They get worse. They just dope them because they're hurting. Their whole body's hurting. So she's aching and she's gritting her teeth, and I'm looking. Oh boy. And I'm looking at them, and they won't look at me, and they won't look at her, and I'm sitting by her, and then she sits up out of her body, and she looks dead at me. She knows I can see her, and I turn and look at her. Yes. She said, you tell my mother that I'm dying today. Tell her I'm going to die. And she turns and she lays down. I said, oh, fuck. Not me. And I get up and I leave and I go out on the porch, and my heart is like this. And the mother follows me. And I'm saying, why is she following me? She knows. And she says, and I said, huh? And I turn and I look out at the outside, and she grabs me, grabs my arm, said, yes, ma'am. And she wouldn't say anything, but I think she knew that I had something to say to her, and I wouldn't say it. And I sat back, and because the girl was angry with her mother. I leave, and I tell my grandmother, and I said, Mom, she said to tell her mother she's leaving today, and she was very angry. She said, oh, her and the mother have been fighting. She hates her mother. This is a way to get back at the mother. And I said, so I wasn't crazy. I heard it. And then she tells me, wear white. I want you to wear white to my funeral. So I say, okay. And I go shopping, and I find a white blazer and white skirt and gold shoes. And I'm thinking, I'm crazy. I don't know why. I just bought white clothes. I can't tell anybody. The lady said it because they're going to think I'm crazy. I wear it. I get into the church. It's a big church, and it's got a long, like what's that entranceway, and you got to walk all the way down through the pews, down into where the pulpit is. The casket is there, and it's open. I get down to the casket, and I look at her, and she has on all white. And I look at my mouth. I literally cannot talk. And I stand beside her, and I said, oh, you did say it. You did tell. I don't know why you told me to do that, but that was like, what, 15, 16, 17 years ago. that's when it started happening to me. So when I started the Vagina Power Show, I didn't say anything because I knew how bad people treated me here in Atlanta because of that. And so I said, I'm not gonna say anything. And so I did the show, and y'all looking at that, and I'm trying to not show that part of me. You think you aisle child, you just walk down the little walkway thing, and I'm walking down the church, and I was like, she's wearing white, you know. Oh boy. So I talked to her too, I touched her too, but I can feel the anger. She had a lot of rage in her. You know how some people will die to hurt you. If they know that's the way to get to you, they feel like you've hurt them all their lives, and now you're trying to make up for it and you want to leave, they'll do it as a way to get revenge. And then I told her mother. She said, I knew. I knew she felt that way. I knew she wanted to do that. We had been fighting, and I knew you knew something. Thank you, Tracy. So that's why I'm sorry I waited so long. Now that I see, I didn't think you all would like it. But then when I told, that was last year when I started R. Kelly, and I told you all, and I asked you, did you want to see it? Do you want me to try the readings? I tried them, and you all been supporting me and loving me and riding with me with these readings. And you don't think I'm crazy. And I like all this, like Tracy, she's a reader too and a seer. I don't have any problems. I don't fight other readers and seers and channelers and all the competition and putting someone down and cursing. I never want to be that person, but unfortunately I'm dealing with that. But you see, I don't treat people that way when they come over here and say they see things and they hear things. Like I saw my child, my dead brother. Yeah, you're not crazy, especially if you can confirm what they say. Thank you, Tracy. That's why I like for you to go find something for me and keep up with the things, like some of the things I mentioned here, and you say, well, yes, because I don't need to be the one. Even if I come out with it, it's still you all. Thank you. If you all see something, because I'm sure you have other readers you like as well, and because they are the truth, there's so many. There's so many people to go around. You don't have to worry about anybody taking anybody from you. At least I don't feel that way. I don't feel that way. And I'm glad that you all are here with... No, I don't think that. They're not saying I'm crazy, Rick. I'm just saying people go check what I say. And they'll come back in my email. They'll come back in the Facebook Messenger. And they're like, you got to see this. Child, I found this. I found that. I love it. Because it helps me believe in myself and my abilities, and it helps you to support me and take it seriously. So that means a lot to me. And y'all, I got to get back on R. Kelly, because some things that I said about him are now. Thank you, Shelly. We got to get back on him. And as you know, I put there Wendy Williams still has not completely left her husband. So I had apologized. I said, y'all, I think I was wrong when I said that she wasn't going to leave him. But I knew it was just because of embarrassment. But now Tasha K is saying she has a source that Wendy is seeing Kelvin and that they're sleeping together. And I see that. I haven't seen the divorce papers filed. I haven't seen them go to court. I haven't seen the divorce finalized. So y'all, I might not have been wrong. But, you know, I'm willing to say if I mistake something, I don't want to be that person so arrogant I could never be wrong. I mean, come on. I have no problem with y'all watching and telling me stuff. Yeah, said R. Kelly pleaded not guilty in new charges. Somebody from his camp told. Didn't I tell y'all that somebody from his camp was going to betray him and that they were spying on both sides? But we're going to get to that. But y'all, let me go because it's so late and I need to lay down. I just had to make myself come and give you something because I know y'all thought something was wrong or where was I? And a couple people have been asking me to read other people. I don't mind reading other people, but y'all, if I'm tied up and NIPSEY comes to me and tells me to look at something or do something for him, and then yes, child, and somebody else comes and they are asking me and they want to speak to me privately, I don't have time to then go do someone else. So I think it's fair if y'all, and I don't mind looking at other celebrities, but y'all can give me a donation because I work hard. I work all day. I work all night. Okay, so it takes a long time to do the NIPSEY ones because, as I've shared with you, who was in them, they take me so many different places. I don't have a lot of time to then go jump on there. I wish I did. You know, I look at the other psychics on YouTube and I admire them because a lot of them will read different people every day. They're so full of energy. They just read. I wish I could do that. However, I cannot because of we're different. And when they come to me and tell me something, yes, we have to pray for his family. I then have to, they end up being like reports, and they end up being so many other places. They're not just as simple as you know. I don't tell you all this stuff from a card. I'm telling you this stuff from my head, and because I've written this is not a tarot card. When I do this, I have the tarot just to give you an overview of what comes up, but you know I don't depend on those. But I'm the type of person, when I see someone's really good at what they do, I admire what they do. Yes, the real marathon continues, and I compliment them. I don't hate on them. Well, then that's like anything. You're up, you're busy, you have to rest, put your energy back. The same thing with a reading. Only thing is mine are different because, again, the entities come in here. People come in here. I'm a channeler. I'm not a card reader. Even though I have them as a supplement, I don't need them. It works differently. And then they stay here for days. Sometimes they stay for weeks. And I let them stay. That's what I want. They don't make me do it. They're not intimidating me or threatening me or waking me up, tormenting. It's nothing like that, like what you think. But what we've been told, demons do that. No, they don't. At least not to me. So I then listen. And that takes me time. So, but I'm trying to learn how to get faster. I'm sorry, I'm just new at this. All the other people, I think they've done it for a while. I'm new at it. So I'm trying to learn to understand my gift and to get better. Because to me, I'm not that good. I'm okay. I'm working to get better. So, you know, I don't mind if somebody says you're wrong, you missed something. And I know some people will be like, you shouldn't say that. But I do feel like there's always room to get better. Okay? So I don't think of myself, I'm this and that. No. I just look at someone else and say, wow, I wish I was like that person. I wish I was like that person. I wish I could read that fast. I wish I could read that fast. And then I have to get up, stop that. I have to stop that. But anyway, thank you for staying here listening to the reading. I feel better since I shared this with you, and I did this for King NIPSEY. Thank you, Nikki. And again, you can contact me for reading, but y'all don't get upset if I don't answer the reading, the Gmail that day. If I don't answer the next day, because I'm busy. It's not personal. I really just can't get to you right then. Because sometimes I feel very overwhelmed, because when I get with a person, even if it's 15 minutes, if something else is there, or I want to talk to them, it may go longer. And I like to treat everybody with respect, the same way I treat the spirits and the entities. I treat humans and the bodies the same way. So I get tired and I get overwhelmed. Sometimes I push myself too much, and I know it's not good for my health. And then, like Trace was saying, the energy and the drain. I thought about that, and I said, I gotta start treating myself better. So if I don't get to you, it's not because I'm going to get to you. Just give me a couple of days or so, because that means I'm tied up. And it's not that I don't like you or not that I don't want to know you. I'm just tied up. So if I choose to read you, which most time I do, unless there's drama, you'll hear from me. Give me a couple of days, okay? That's what's going on when I don't say something. Not because I didn't see it, but I'm probably still dealing with other people that came first. And that's how I am. I do first come, first serve. Now, if somebody says they have an emergency and I can work it in, I will work it in. But I do first come, first serve. The battery's going out. I love you all. I will be back with you soon. I promise. Thank you for watching this segment of AKT Celebrity Read. Share it. Click like on it. I'll talk to you soon.